Kelly from Cards by Christine here with you on a Thursday evening to do Paper Pumpkin Live with you. So I'm so excited. Let me just make sure that I'm where I need to be and that we are all set with this video. Okay, so I'm not seeing it yet. Let's see here. So, I just need to see if I'm live. Otherwise, I'm talking to nobody. So, let's see here. Anyone want to chime in and let me know that I'm live? Typically, it doesn't take this long to show up. Bum-ba-da-bum. Oh, there it is. Okay. Wow. Okay, so there are 8 people on with me. Hello, Lori from Lake Elmo. Oh my goodness, my son loves Elmo. Hi, Melanie Foy. Oh, feels so good to be here in the hive to do Paper Pumpkin. I love Paper Pumpkin. I've been a subscriber for many, many years. And I really, really love being able to make beautiful cards quickly, and the quality is just so great. And I can't talk enough about how much I love Paper Pumpkin. Hello, Jean, Bobby, Marjorie, Gloria, Faye, and Gwen. I'm live. Okay, good. We are live. Hello from Chicago, Susan. Hi, Karen. Hello, Patricia. Okay, so happy September. Let's see here. I think we're at the 2nd already. Like, holy man, that just flies by. Happy back to school season. Hi, Dot. I am now a mother of a school-age child, and that is crazy. So I'm going to pull up my phone and share with you what I've been dealing with recently. So back to school is a fun time, all right? So here we go. Here's my little man. Let's see here, can I make, I don't want to make that go away. Okay, so this is my Zachary. He started 3K on Tuesday. I made a cute little sign. It says, my first day of 3K, my teacher is Mrs. Hellman. I'm 3.5 years old, 39 inches tall. Things I like, trains, coloring, and playing downstairs, and I want to be Thomas when I grow up. So that was before we made it to school. Then here's how we felt about school. And that's my husband and Zachary. And then that's actually my cousin's daughter. She's in 4K, and at this school, the 3K and 4K are together. So they are going to be together, which did help soften the blow. And then I got him to giggle a little bit, showing off his backpack and his shirt. And then the school, that's all school photo. So him and all his little friends and classmates. And then here's where the fun really happens. So we've got, yeah, that's him. He cried the whole time. The whole time. Nothing like breaking your heart. He kept saying, I want mommy, where's my mommy? But then the teacher sent some pictures after the first day, and there's him playing with a little friend. Her name is Nora. He told me all about playing in the kitchen. He's holding a lemon. She's got a strawberry. He was telling me about that. So obviously it got better. So, and then day 2, which was yesterday. Sorry, I have a lot of stamping pictures on here. Day 2 was picture day, and they sent me this picture. I actually used to work for Gullers Photography. They're a premier photography studio here out in the Holy Lands. And they sent me this picture. I got him to wear his nice fancy shirt. Actually, this was the first picture they sent me. That is his new back to school face. It's covering his eyes and hiding. But yeah, so they sent me these pictures and basically said they couldn't believe that he's that old already and that he's in school, and oh man, I really, really feel that way too. So, he's doing well. He's making friends, and it just is hard. our whole routine is shifted, and you know, my husband is a third shifter, and so we go to bed late. He is typically used to sleeping in late, but that's all changing. So I'm a little exhausted and overwhelmed, to say the least, but it's all good. I'm so happy to watch him flourish and really make new friends. And I will tell you what, today I've never seen him be so helpful in putting away toys when I asked him to help pick up toys. So I think he's already learning just a ton, and it feels great. So anyways, that's my little ramble about back to school. I hope everyone that is participating in back to school, whether it be for your kids, your grandkids, or anyone that's close to you, I hope back to school is going well. Who knows, maybe you're even going back to school. But yeah, so it's September. It's so funny here in Wisconsin. September rolled around and literally the temperatures dropped. Like it feels like fall. It feels like back to school. And it is. So wow, I cannot believe it. So hello to everyone that has joined us since I started showing off my kiddos. I wasn't getting notifications as I was showing off the pictures, so sorry about that. But I'm so glad you're here. I'm so excited to do Paper Pumpkin. Throw some hearts, likes, comments in the feed if you are joining us and actually doing the Paper Pumpkin. I have roll call here for who is doing it with us. Marge Haas, Kate Papp, Sherry Martin, Brenda Krudwig, Christina Heisler, Barb Freund, Jennifer Jones, Jennifer Wheeler, Brenda Wood, and Jeannie Parker. So, oh my goodness, and look at all of those hearts. That is fantastic. We've got a lot of people joining us tonight. That is awesome. I'm so excited. It's a beautiful kit. Sorry, I'm just trying to check something on the phone. It's a beautiful kit. I love it. I cannot wait to show you the alternative that we're going to make. I like it. I like it a lot. I did Paper Pumpkin last month with you guys too, so I'm really digging this. It's a nice, fun little outing for me to get out and get into the hive and leave everything behind, so that's good. So yeah, I'm going to, let's see here. Sorry, I lost control of what I was doing. Yeah, it looks like, it's 11 a.m. on Friday the 4th, where Emily is joining us from New Zealand. That is crazy. Hello, Karen, as in, hi, Mom. I'm glad you got the link. Yeah, so here we go. For those of you that do not know, and I forgot one more thing. Today is Thursday, aka Technique Thursday. You may have gathered now that the Technique Thursdays and Tip Tuesdays are not live. So I'm not wearing the same shirt as I was wearing in this morning's Technique Thursday. I did actually pre-record that. I think it was on Saturday or Sunday. So this is the card that I made. I'm dying to try it. I didn't make any extras that could be actually torn, and I don't want to take the fun out of, I mean, that's really most of the fun of the card is probably tearing the strip off, but this is the torn strip technique. It's using dies from the beautifully penned die set, and this scalloped border has stitching along it that if you bend it back and forth, it becomes loose and kind of makes like a perforation, a pull tab of sorts. So that is what we made in our Technique Thursday this morning. It's a beautiful card using the beautifully penned suite, which I just cannot stop using. Like the creativity flows from me when I see different things made with that bundle and suite. So I love it. I'm actually going to be sending my version of the card off to Deb Norman, who gave me that beautiful t-shirt. I love it. It is so soft, and it says be happy. So what more could you want than a shirt that reminds you to be happy? So that was the one thing I wanted to cover before we jump into the paper pumpkin. So let's flip her back down. Here is the paper pumpkin. It is called the Hope Box this month. It is designed by Shelly Gardner, who is the CEO and co-founder or founder, sorry, I don't know off the top of my head, of Stampin' Up! And thank you. I really enjoy that card. I thought it was beautiful as well. I will be honest, I did case that technique card from one of the artisan design team members. I don't remember what her name was, but I thought it was a brilliant technique, reminiscent of a pull tab that you get at a bar. So, oh man. All right, so here's the Hope Box. How to make a Hope Box with the Hope Box Paper Pumpkin Kit. So the whole purpose is to put a smile on someone's face. Now this is a picture of Shelly, and she says, the Hope Box Paper Pumpkin Kit includes a gorgeous card kit for you to create, plus a specially designed box, the Hope Box. Stampin' Up! Co-founder Shelly created the Hope Box to help you find what makes you hopeful. Simply collect mementos and precious objects, reminders of wonderful memories and tokens that point towards exciting moments that come. And keep your curated Hope Box as a place to turn to for some self-love and inspiration. So beautiful. I love the idea behind this. So this is the Hope Box itself. We hope, haha, no pun intended, that it didn't get too damaged in the mail. Sometimes, especially with the volume of deliveries that these poor postal workers have to make, sometimes things don't fare well as others. So ours are in very good shape, and I don't know that I mentioned this earlier, but we do have 3 extra paper pumpkin boxes. So 1, 2, 3. If you are inspired by what we are making tonight, and or if you love the alternative, I'm telling you, this alternative, I'm really talking it up. I hope you guys love it as much as I do. Reach out to Chris or the Cards by Christine Facebook page. Sorry, I just had a major brain fart. This is the ways that you can reach Chris and let her know that you're interested in one of the Hope Box Paper Pumpkin Kits, and we can get that sent out to you so that you can create one too. That is the gamble of doing paper pumpkin, is you don't know what you get. You would like one. I will put your name aside and put one. Okay, so we've got 2 of 3 sold. Brenda Lee and Jeannie Parker. Jeannie Parker, I do have you on the list, so I will verify with Chris that that means one's coming to you, or are you saying that you would like an additional one? So we'll get some clarification on that. I'll make notes of who has made comments, but we are potentially down to just 1 extra. So let me get this noted right away. Hello, Cheryl. Oh, so nice of you to tune in. It is a great night to be making some paper pumpkin. I'm so excited. Okay, so, yeah, and I saw Deb Norman said her box is completely crushed. That is a shame. You know, these boxes are wonderful. First of all, this box, the Hope Box, really is intentional to utilize the box, and we'll get to that. That's going to be the 4th project we do, is creating the Hope Box. And it's got all these beautiful overlaid words on there, and I don't know if, no, they aren't all the same words. It's happy, strong, hope, brave, craft, courage, and then inspiration in all of these other languages as well. Now, don't, Susan, I'm sorry to hear that too. Don't quote me on this. I don't work for Stampin' Up, but I do feel like if you reached out to Stampin' Up or Paper Pumpkin and explained that your box was crushed, they maybe would be able to do something for you, because this kit is basically built around this box. So I'm really sorry to hear that. But to be honest, as I was kind of looking through the different things, I noticed that the things that go with for decorating the box would make awesome alternative cards as well. And I was gonna do that. I was gonna use those. Penny, thank you so much for sharing that. I kind of thought they would. So definitely, if yours is crushed, feel free to reach out to Stampin' Up! And it sounds like they will definitely take care of you, which is fantastic. You know, Stampin' Up! Has wonderful customer service, so I'm not surprised that they would do that, especially because they care so much. So that is so good to know. Okay, sorry, I'm just grabbing a couple blocks for when we get around to the stamping. But here is the kit. This is what we're going to be making tonight. So here's the Hope Box. There's all the extra pieces that they gave to decorate the Hope Box. So that's what it's gonna look like in the end. You can see there's a belly band that covers the logo on the front. So then it kind of becomes more generic looking, and actually it probably even covers that along the back. Then, sorry, it's hard to do this one-handed. We've got the 3 cards, and they're beautiful corresponding envelopes. I am blown away by these envelopes. I'll show you them as soon as I unpack everything, but wow, I am loving it. I love the colors. So for your reference, if you are a Stampin' Up, a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, and you want to kind of just learn a few little tips about how to use your kit, just a couple of months ago, they updated their instruction sheets. They have measuring tools along the side. The instructions are now in full color, and oh man, I feel like they made one more advancement to the kit or the instructions, and I'm not positive. But another thing to keep in mind is on the back, let's see here. I think this just shows you what you need for each of the steps. On the back, it shows you a picture of all of the supplies that are included in the kit. And then down here it says kit components. Contains supplies for 9 cards and 9 envelopes. So that tells you what you're going to get out of it. And also this one, and it doesn't mention, which I'm surprised, is it does include extra supplies to create the Hope Box. But this is what I want to point out. Coordinating Stampin' Up! Colors. So I love the colors of this kit, and I was really inspired by it. And I also, Penny, you got it. That is exactly what we're going to do. We're going to cut up the envelope, the beautiful envelope, and use it for our alternative card. And actually, I might have it. You guys, I don't have a lot of extra time on my hands, but I had time this weekend when I was here recording the technique videos to prepare for the alternative. And spoiler alert, this is the envelope. This is the envelope, and look at how beautiful it makes for the cards. So I hope I didn't spoil the surprise by kind of giving you a peek and sharing what that is going to be at the end of today. But hi Debbie, thanks. I'm glad you enjoyed the technique. I always love making the techniques, and it's just fun for me. So I'm glad you guys are loving it. But what I was saying is these coordinating Stampin' Up! Colors, that helped me really frame how I wanted to make the alternative card, because the alternative, I wanted to match the colors that were used in the kit. So Bermuda Bay, Blackberry Bliss, Bumblebee, Melon, Mambo, Petal, Pink, Pool Party, and Poppy Parade. Whew, that was a tongue twister. And then also over here it shows you can scan the QR code to watch detailed instructions on how to make the kit, but you don't need to do that because you're going to watch me. And then inspiration on how to make different alternative cards with this month's kit. So these instructions are really going to be your guide to making your paper pumpkin, and they're really useful, and they've really elevated their offerings. I'm not gonna lie, they really do listen to you, and they've sent out a bunch of surveys and stuff to gather feedback on what kits were the most loved and what type of things interest their subscribers so that they can make the best kits for what the people are looking for. So, all right, that's enough blabber about that. So in the kit, you've got this sheet of die cuts. All of these die cuts are actually just for the box. So I'm gonna put this aside. Then we've got rhinestones and dimensionals, as well as a sheet of glue dots. Sorry, I was like not coming up with a word there. Then we've got beautiful envelopes. So there's 3 each of 3 different card designs. So here are the envelopes. And if you don't think that's beautiful enough, look at the backs. Seriously, so good. I'm just really jazzed about these envelopes. Okay, then we've got some banners, and the banners go with the pink card. We've got some white squares, which also go with the pink card. We've got these words, tomorrow and hope, which go with that card. Then we have these watercolor backgrounds, which also go with that card. We have stamping on, okay, so this is for a couple different cards, so I can't distribute them anywhere. These go on that card. Then we have die cuts that are for all, and let's see here. We've got our card bases. Pink card bases go here. We've got these awesome intricate dies. They're so colorful. That is for this card. This is the belly band for the Hope box. This is the card base for that. Then this strip, actually, I think all of this is for the Hope box. So we'll put them aside. This, in all the different languages, is for that card. And last but certainly not least, we have the Pool Party card base. So I've got them organized, so we'll just start working from left to right. Alrighty, I'm gonna start with the Pool Party card. We're just gonna make one each of the cards tonight, but you will be able to make 3 of each of the cards when you put your kit together. All right, so first things first. The first card is at the top, and it shows you to grab your stamp set and grab your block. I do always like to mention that if you have stamping supplies, in my opinion, it makes the most sense to use what you have. Every new Paper Pumpkin subscriber gets a Paper Pumpkin block. It's a little thinner, and it doesn't have the rounded edges, so it's not as nice to stamp with. However, if you don't have stamping supplies, it absolutely fits the bill and makes it that you don't need to purchase anything in addition. So I'm gonna bring in my acrylic block and use the block I would always use. And then I'm also going to bring in my Blackberry Bliss stamp pad. Now, of course, they give me a Blackberry Bliss Stampin' Spot. Completely functional, nothing wrong with that, but I am going to use my full-size pad because I have it. So that's just a little disclaimer that I always like to mention when I'm doing Paper Pumpkin, because as awesome as it is that you get those things, it really is always better just to use, not necessarily better, but easier to use your everyday Stampin' Supplies, because that's what they're designed for. Okay, so going to take and mount my stamp. These stamps are photopolymer, so you definitely want to bring in your foam mat and get that stamp on there good, and then bring in your piece of paper. So they show, and you can do it whatever way you want, but I'm going to follow the suggestion of the sample. So that shows that it goes pink to blue, and they centered, just checking, the black is a little scratched up so it's kind of hard to see, but just checking to make sure I have good coverage. And the stamped image is centered. Put your stamp down, give it some light pressure. A very talented stamper that I know, aka Chris, taught me that you always want to leave your stamp on the paper so that the ink settles into the paper. So fun little tip there. Then I do suggest always cleaning your stamps right away when you're done using them. Otherwise you forget to do it, or even worse, you lose your stamp because you don't know where you put it, and that's just fun. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean my stamp off, and then I'm even going to put it right back where it belongs. Now, I will say I did not get the best impression on this one. I think there maybe is a little bit of a dry spot, or I don't want to say, I think the stamp pad maybe needs re-inking. We'll see, but it's not that bad, and that is one of the things about homemade cards, is they're not going to be perfect, and that's perfectly fine. So the next step here shows to put dimensionals behind the piece that we just stamped and glue dots behind this Bermuda Bay colored piece. I am going to use dimensionals. It only shows one dimensional in each of the corners. I guess I'm inclined to think that that's not quite enough, so I'm going to maybe put more than that. If that's what they're saying, it must be fine, but I don't know. I'm gonna go a little rogue here and add a couple extras just to give it some more structure. And then I also am going to go a little rogue. Here's another pro tip. Close your stamp pad when you're done using it. So many catastrophes happen at the expense of your stamp pad being open. So please always keep a closed stamp pad. Not only is it better because then it doesn't dry out as quickly. I mean, I don't know if that's really a thing, but in my mind it's good to not keep it exposed. But then also definitely don't want to have an accident by dropping something into your open face stamp pad. Okay, so the next step is adhering this to the front of your card, which means you need to fold your card base along the score line and use your bone folder to burnish it. Now, again, you do have glue dots, and if you don't have anything else in your Stampin' Arsenal, you absolutely can use glue dots to put your card together. However, I'm going to deflect to using my glue. I am a liquid glue lover. I was not, when liquid glue kind of came on the scene as an option to order for putting your cards together, I fought it hard because I'm like, I like my tape runner. Well, then as your cards, and this is all based on where you live and what you use, but here in Wisconsin, the humidity kind of hits the card, and after some time they can fall apart if the tape runner is not the highest quality, or maybe a little dried out, or maybe just all tape runners do that. I don't know. I'm sorry that you're having trouble with freezing. I'm still doing good on my end, so I do think it's not a broad technology issue. Anyone else having issues? I think we're doing okay though. So yeah, I fought it for a while. I didn't want to use glue. I just kind of felt like it wasn't the right choice. But I have since definitely transitioned to loving using glue. I like having that extra 10 seconds of wiggle as well as it kind of starts to dry. That's something that I appreciate. So I'm just grabbing the last of my elements. Hello, Shannon. Thank you so much for joining. Okay, so we need 2 of these kind of white watercolor wing butterflies and the word hope and the word tomorrow. Keeps freezing and then comes back. So when that happens, not always a foolproof answer, but it is always good to just give it a second, maybe log out and log back into Facebook, and then boom, a lot of times that takes care of the problem. So hopefully that helps whomever is having some difficulties. So now we're going to take the words hope and tomorrow, and via dimensionals, we're going to layer them on top of the corresponding words from the stamp. 1 dimensional centered on the back of the word hope, and 2 dimensionals on the edges of the word tomorrow. Always hope, because you never know what tomorrow will bring. What a beautiful sentiment. Then again, we've got glue dots. So again, I'm going to deflect to using liquid glue, and then I'm actually going to curl the wings up using my bone folder just to give it some more dimension. And then I'm going to put the glue in a line down the body of the butterfly. So we're going to put that one there. And then do that again on this one. Okay. And then this card is done except for the embellishments, which we are going to put. Okay, let me grab them. Got my handy little drawer of tricks down here. Chris's setup here in the hive is just fantastic. It is envious. I will say, if you are a Be Happy Stamper, Chris has a Facebook group for the Be Happy Stampers, and she does bi-monthly challenges, and this half of September's challenge is to show off your craft space. And I can't wait to do it. I will show it off. It's a little messy right now, so I might wait a little bit until I have an opportunity to clean it up a little bit. But honestly, it's never clean, so why would I show it off like that? But here's what we've got for card number 1. Card number 1 corresponds with this envelope. So let's, look at that. Beautiful. There it is. That is card number 1. Yeah, so being a part of Chris's team is awesome. I don't even know that I have any other words to say about it. I really enjoy the camaraderie and all of the ladies that I've gotten to meet over the time of, being a Be Happy Stamper and helping Chris out. So I really love, we started doing those challenges a couple of months ago, and it's fun to just get engaged with people who love the same things that you love. So that's what I have to say about that. Okay, we're moving on to the pink card. And, see, I would have never met you, Deb, if it wasn't for Chris and her crazy card making. Alrighty, let's see here what we all are getting around for this one. So, step number 1 is to take glue dots and adhere them to the white piece as well as the banners. So, I am going to punch out my banners, and I'm going to lace in one of Chris's pro tips. Even though I'm not going to assemble all of these cards today, I may as well punch out all the pieces, because it takes no longer to punch out all the pieces at once than it, actually I should say, it takes less time to punch out all the tags at once, because you're just laying them all over the top of each other and punching them out. So good way to save just a couple of seconds when you're doing your paper pumpkin kits. So I'll put all the rest of these aside for when Chris assembles the rest of them. Wishful thinking, who knows? I I kind of think Chris doesn't assemble the rest of them. Maybe it's like a rainy day fun thing for her. Okay, so first things first, we're going to take our liquid glue in this case, or glue dots, or whatever adhesive of choice, snail, some people like snail, and center this white piece on here. Then it appears as though, I'm going to show you a close-up of the picture. It appears as though, according to this, the black dot signals that it's a glue dot. So these are not on dimensionals. Yeah, I guess you can see that better on that picture than this one. And it looks like these two are glued down first, and then the other two are layered on top of them. So I'm going to try to do that. Now, you can put these in whatever order you want. You can layer them however you want, but I'm not going to get creative here. And I'm just going to do them in the same order, in the same orientation that they showed. That is one of my favorite things about Paper Pumpkin is you can be as creative or not creative as you want to be. And I appreciate that because sometimes Mom, don't know if you're still tuning in, will text me, I need a sympathy card, or it's your aunt's birthday tomorrow, or, you know, whatever occasion is up next. And it's nice to have something on hand that I can address the need in a timely manner without, with the ability to make something beautiful without having to overextend myself. When you design a card from scratch, it can take anywhere from an hour, several hours, a long time, a really, really long time. And I like making beautiful things in a short amount of time. Sometimes, not always. And, oh man. Okay, that's how that one's gonna be. I don't love that I did not space these out super duper well, and I so appreciate that. Karen Beekle all is my mommy. I love her dearly. She is so, she's a very nice, good person, and she helps me a lot. So she's mom, and we love our moms, right? So I didn't do a great job spacing these out. There's a lot of overlay between these two, or overlap, and not a whole ton here. But that's okay. That's just how it goes. I think I'm going to shift up my design a little bit to actually make it less noticeable. But we'll see. You found Chris in the Hive 2 weeks ago? Oh, goodness. Thank you for finding us, Penny. How did you find us? I would love to know that. We love inviting new people to join our crazy chaotic stampingness. It's not chaotic. It really is not. Yeah. So we have lots and lots of fun here in the Hive. And where are you from, Penny? Are you at all local to Fond du Lac, Wisconsin? Are you ever going to make a trek out here to see this beauty in real life? Anyone that's been to the Hive, please chime in. But honestly, when you step in this space, it just feels so good. Like, sometimes I'll leave the kids with Mom, right, Mom? And put the circle to the left. That's exactly what I'm thinking, too. And then the butterflies will go over there too. It's going to be perfect. But yeah, sometimes I'll leave the boys behind and come here to make some technique videos or do something. And it just, like, when you step in the doors, it kind of is like a stress is off of you. Central Florida. Well, you're in a great place, so don't ever feel the need to come to rainy, snowy Wisconsin. Just kidding. Wisconsin actually is a very beautiful place to live. I love that we have 4 seasons. Like Disney World for card makers. You are right, Deanne. It sure is. But if you do ever make a trip, we would love to meet you and invite you into the space. It's a lot of fun. We should all have a hive. You're right. We should, Mom. Right, Mom? We should work on that. Let's make a hive. I've got a big garage. No, I have a beautiful stamping space. It's kind of like a storage closet. It's not huge, but it's all I need. All right, so I took the circle and stamped just a note of hope in our Blackberry Bliss ink. Holly, I'm so glad that you've learned a bunch and been inspired by us. We love hearing that. And it really keeps us going. All of you keep us going. Okay, so 3 butterflies. They picked the let's see here. I'm trying to see. Okay, so the purple ones are on the next card. So they picked the yellow, which I'm pretty sure is Bumblebee, the greenish, which I think is Bermuda Bay, and the pink that is reminiscent of Magenta Madness. So let's punch those out. Okay, so here's where I'm going to go rogue again. I'm going to use dimensionals and pop this boy over here. They show it over here, which looks beautiful, but not on the card I made because of how I didn't quite get it laid out super nice. So I'm just going to kind of cover up my blunder. Hello, Mary Carls, and hello, Jennifer. Jennifer, that's a name I recognize. We've been talking about some personalized stamps the last few days. Okay, so I am going to put this over on this side, about halfway up, covers up. Okay, so I don't love that I covered up that flower because I think these flowers are beautiful, but that's okay. No one's going to really care that I covered up a beautiful flower. There's beautiful flowers all over this card. And again, I'm going to kind of massage the sides of the wings to flutter them up. Really give some nice dimension to the card. So there's the pink one, the yellow one, and getting ahead of myself. Thought I could work a little faster than I can, apparently. And the Bermuda Bay one. I love these intricate die, or not dies, excuse me, these die cut, laser cut, or whatever it's called, pieces. There are some in the Stampin' Up! Catalog, I think in the Amphira pack, or however that's said. But man, they really, you can get some beautifully detailed things from them. Okay, so now I'm going to have to play a little bit with where to put the butterflies because I can't just completely copy what they did because now it's a completely different set of colors where I'm putting them on. Oh, I think this works out. Okay, so I think that's the general arrangement that I'm going to go with. And look at there, covered up my blunder. And then the last thing that's going to be difficult. So, guys, you get to see me every Thursday, and you've been seeing me a little more. You'll see me next week, too. I'm all over the place, guys. Next week, we have game night on Thursday, and I'm always your sidekick, your substitute hostess with the mostess on game night because I help Chris. There's a lot of fine details to administering game night that kind of happen behind the scenes, so it's too much for one person to take on by themselves. So I always help out for game night. So I will be with you next week, Thursday, as well, helping run the show there. You started a card with this design minus the white piece. Yeah, I think this is so cool. This is a really great way to use up some like DSP scraps. And we've got, they're just shy of, it looks like they're 7/8 of an inch. And then banner punched. You could easily make a very nice card like this with any scraps of DSP. I do like the white behind it, at least in this design, or with these colors, because it kind of helps make the patterns stand out on the pink. But yeah, you absolutely could recreate this. So now we're going to use, it looks like 6 embellishments. That is so funny because you enjoyed game night. Game night is so much fun. It's funny to me that they are having you use 6 because so many times it feels like the preach is to use odd numbers of embellishments, not even numbers, and 6 is what they've got on this card. But to be honest, I'm just gonna put them a bunch of different places because I didn't follow the exact design for this card because of my blunder. So I also am going to warn you that I'm very bad at random. Random is so hard for me. So I'm going to try to put embellishments on here without getting too overwhelmed. Oh my goodness, guys. I forgot Stella. I'm going to bring back the first card we made. Where did I put it? I really don't know where I put that card already. Oopsies. How can your stamp space get so messy so quickly? That's what I want to know. All right, I'm going to give, oh, there it is. Ha ha. Okay, so I am going to, oh, hello. Thank you so much for joining from Puerto Rico. I am so glad you found us, and we enjoy having you in our company. What time is it there? I feel like that's a long ways away. You guys, I'm not very good at geography. Although I generally know where we're speaking of. Sorry, when I get into the finer details of things, it's harder to multitask. And yeah. I'm just going to carefully fill in the colored portions of the wings. I really like what that did on this design. For those of you that don't know, Stella is a wonderful controlled glitter brush pen. The glitter is not necessarily glitter per se. It's kind of just like sparkly glimmers in a somewhat alcohol solution that you can paint directly onto your projects. You did hear me say it's controlled glitter, which is the best kind of glitter. It does not rub off. So we love that. Eastern time. Really? Okay, that's not that bad. I'm gonna outline the edges of the text boxes as well, just to add a little glitter. So Stella Pens are an accessory that you can purchase from the Stampin' Up! Catalog, and they are universal. You can use them on every project. We try to use Stella, I mean, okay, not every project because I wouldn't necessarily bring Stella into a masculine card, but it just adds so much fine detail to your cards. So I'm going to do that. Oh, and it's going to be really hard for you to see that, I think. But let me tell you, here live in person really elevated the card. Okay, now let's add some Stella to these butterflies. Now, if you would have been on top of things, I should say if I would have been on top of things, this would have been a lot easier to do before I glued them down. So now I'm going to have to be a little careful again. Not that it matters if I get Stella on the background, but it'll look more intentional and more kind of polished together if I keep it just controlled onto the butterflies. So that's what I'm going to try to do here. Again, I'm trying to focus, so I'm not going to be super duper chatty for a minute here. I love, love, love this color combo. I'm not the best with color combos, coming up with them, I should say. So that's another way to get inspired, is just by looking at, like, this is a curated kit, and Obviously, they were very intentional about putting the colors together, so they put a lot of thought into what colors should go together, and I love that. So, absolutely use that when you need it. When you need inspiration, the best place to get inspiration is the Stampin' Up! Website, or like just go to paperpumpkin.com and check out what the recent kits are, and it's awesome. Actually, another really good place when you are in a slump and need a little inspiration, go to the DSP page where all the DSP are together, and all the DSP typically have a color scheme, and that is love Wink of Stella. You are so right. And I really like what I did the last one where I went around the text box as well. So I'm going to try that again on the circle, which is a little harder to facilitate than on the square, but we got this. So we just took a Stella break. Sorry, guys. Okay, there it is. Card number 2. Again, it's probably kind of difficult for you to see the Stella, but let's bring in the envelope, because again, I'm just going to vibe on these envelopes. They are so gorgeous. Ooh, okay. So good, Deb. And I just showed off that technique in the Technique Thursday. So I will remember to do that on the next card. Okay, so card number 2 is done. Now we're moving on to card number 3. Let me get my supplies. Dun, 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 dun. All right, what is first? Stamp on. Okay, so this and this. And then we need hope. All of these other languages are not going to get used. You could give them to one of your friends from afar, and they could use them on their stamped cards. All right, where is my, here we go. I'm going to stamp them before I punch them out, I think. So where there is and there is faith are the stamps we're gonna use. Obviously, the word hope falls in the middle of that sentiment, and that is going to be from the die cut, or the pre-stamped sheets that I just cut out here in the Bermuda Bay. So the first one says, where there is, and you're going to do your best to center it on this tiny little strip of paper. Let it sit for a couple of seconds. And then you can, sometimes what I like to do, especially these are so small and you can still see them through well, is I'll just flip my block over and then do the second stamp, so then I'm not going back to the cleaner twice. Not that that's a big deal, but okay, so I have where there is faith. So that is step 1, getting the stamping done. Clean up your stamp. Close your ink pad. Ha-ha! Faye, what a great tip. She said, flip the foreign language tags over and stamp sentiments as needed. You also could maybe either use a blending brush or kind of like a watercolor wash to get some color on there first. Boom, wonderful tip. We stamped on a strip and just put them over the other languages. That is smart too. You guys are way more creative than I am, at least tonight. Like I said, I'm a little drained. Back to school was a little hard on me this week. But that is fine. Tomorrow is Friday. Zach doesn't have school tomorrow. I'm working from home tomorrow. I'm actually taking a half day tomorrow. I'm going to go have breakfast with a former co-worker of mine. I only worked there for like 6 or 8 months, but man, I really enjoyed this woman. And she actually knew my grandma, who passed away a couple of, probably 10 years ago. And she used to work at a bank, and the bank that my grandma went to. So that was so cool to me, that I've really tried to keep in touch with her. So I'm going to have breakfast with her tomorrow, and I'm so excited about it. Okay, so step number 2 is to punch out this beautiful, intricate die. And look it, this thing is already colored. It's already die cut. This in and of itself is basically the whole card, just right here. Be very careful. They're very fine pieces and cuts. So just get that punched out, and then, hi Fellaine, thank you for joining us. Never too late to join. Thank you for sharing, and thank you for reminding me. I did not mention, but we do appreciate when you take the time to share our videos, so that your friends can meet us, we can meet your friends, and they can join us along on this fun crafting journey. Honestly, I said it before, the camaraderie is really the best. I've met some of the best people I know through stamping, and I love, love, love getting to spend this time with you. So invite your friends. Honestly, they don't even need to be crafters. They can just come sip some wine with us on a Thursday night and just have fun. We are all about that. Okay, so this piece gets put on thereabouts. That die cut is gorgeous. I wish I could like have 100 of these. I mean, this card just made itself. It's got some watercoloring on the background. Obviously the die with all the beautiful watercoloring. Oh, this card is gonna take no time or effort. Again, they are suggesting glue dots in these various locations on the picture. I am again going to deflect to using my liquid glue in the same locations. Because of the intricacies of the die, there's not many large places to put glue, so, or glue dots or whatever adhesive you choose to use. But when you are putting your adhesive down, just try to hit enough spots that it will hold nicely, and kind of keep it even from left to right and top to bottom, so that there aren't too many places that don't have any adhesive and are prone to being lifted up. Okay. Again, like I said, I like the liquid glue because I like to have that little bit of wiggle. I tried to line this up at the beginning so that I kind of had a feel for where I'm trying to lay this. And I think thereabouts is where it's going to be. Now, hello Lila, thank you for tuning in. I can see here, it's maybe a little hard. Oh, you can maybe see a little bit of the shadows. I can see that there's not much here. It seems like everywhere else is pretty good. So I'm just gonna flip this over and throw a dab of glue behind this leaf, because the last thing I want is for anything to hang up that could get caught and torn. That would just not be what I'm looking for. Okay, now a couple of comments ago, I think it was Deb Norman. Yes, we were talking about Stella on the previous card, and she said she kind of sprayed the Stella around the background. I love this technique. You can do it with a Stella, you can do it with a stamp and blend, or some various other types of markers, but I'm gonna take my Stella. I'm gonna give her just a little squeeze. You don't want a ton of Stella in the chamber, but you want enough that it's kind of a little juicy. And then you're gonna take your bone folder and use your bone folder as a solid surface, and then flick Stella onto the card via your bone folder. So it's not hard at all. The hardest part is getting the Stella where you want it, because you're not going to, there's no control. There is absolutely no control about where Stella goes when you do this. So I'm seeing that it's hitting more here, so I'm actually just gonna rotate my card so that I can get the top part. But this is one of my favorite techniques, and like I said, I actually did that on the technique card, oh my god, this morning. So here is the technique card again, and I didn't know what to put on this banner. Under here, if you tear this, it says thanks. I would have loved to have a stamp that said like just a note, and then like of thanks would be on the inside. But I didn't have anything like that, or not that I could think of, so I just left it blank, but I didn't want to leave it empty. So that's why I splattered some Stella and some blends on there. So let's see if we can show this off. Oh yeah, you can see that. That looks awesome. Of course, this was beautiful to begin with. It's not like it needed that, but man, you can never say no to Stella. Okay, so that is that step. Now we move on to assembly. So we've got the purple butterfly. Just putting a couple things away. Okay, where are my die cut butterflies? Okay. So we need glue dots and dimensionals. Well, dimensionals, and I'm just going to So pretty, great addition. I agree. And all the credit goes to Deb Norman. That was such a timely suggestion. When doing that, Chris, if you're watching, I'm sorry. You want to protect your work surface. Like I said, there's no controlling it, and it can and will get everywhere. So I embellished Chris's workstation a little bit. Sorry. All right, then I'm going to put the mini dimensionals behind the little banners. I have long fingernails, so sometimes it's hard to control things. Oops. All right, where there is hope, there is faith. I am going to put hope down first, because that will go largely in the center. And then I'm going to space the other pieces off of that. Okay. Then, last but not least, if there isn't enough die cutting already, we're gonna put a die cut butterfly on here as well. Ooh la la, I am loving it. Okay, so I'm gonna take my die cut butterfly, I'm going to curl the wings again. You guys, my fingers are so glittery. I love it. Stella, hard at work. Just put a strip of glue down here. Okay, and then put our little butterfly friend here. Okay, last but certainly not least, we've got embellishments. So I'm going to just follow the lead of the example and put them wherever they say they should go. Sometimes it's a scavenger hunt, being able to find all of the embellishments on these cards that they're showing off. But my goodness, this card is a stunner. All right, did I miss any? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I think there's 7 on here they show. Now, of course, you can put them wherever you want. I already admitted to y'all that I am not great at random, and embellishments, to me, placing embellishments is kind of random, so I like to use their inspiration as a guide, and so I did track them all down. We've got 2 in that flower, 2 in that flower, 1 on each of these butterflies, and 1 hanging out in the top. So where there is hope, there is faith. And that card nestles beautifully in this envelope. And you've got 3 stunning cards. I'm going to lay them all out for you to see. And then we're going to move on to creating our hope box. All right. What do you guys think? Which one is your favorite? Give you a minute to soak them in. I honestly love them all. I love all of the sentiments that are included in this hope box. I'm gonna say I like this one the best. It is gorgeous. That die cut is just, it's to die for. No pun intended. It is a beautiful die, and all of the watercolor on that looks just so gorgeous. So which one's your favorite? I'm gonna leave them here as I get set up for my hope box. And you just let me know what you think. Okay, so last but certainly not least, beautiful cards. The last is my favorite. Holly, we are on the same wavelength, girl. Okay, so for the hope box, they're literally, you like the pink one best. I love the pink one. It is gorgeous, but I actually, more than the card itself, I just love the idea of it. You can easily recreate that with some beautiful DSP. So I am a fan. Oops. Okay, so we've got, I'm going to punch out all of these things, and then I'm getting my supplies around. You like the first one best. All right, well, there, we have a vote for each. So I think that is, that is all we need. Everyone's loving all of them. I agree. Okay, so here are my punched out die cuts. Be very careful when you're punching out these dies. They are sometimes difficult to do without breaking. So just something, just a word from the wise. Oh, what's that? Okay, so I'm gonna move them out of our way and move on now to the hope box. Love the intricate dies, Deb. You and I, telling ya, I feel it. I feel ya. It's beautiful. Okay, so again, we've got, oh, sorry, there were more dies to punch out. Multiple languages, but the language we are going to use is always hope, because you never know what tomorrow will bring. I have seen an alternative card that uses these components to make a card or several cards. I love, they kind of just snipped it into different segments, different word groups kind of, and it just is so pretty. Okay, then let's put these with the extras. Where did mine? Sorry, I'm trying to get organized here. All right, so step number 1 is to assemble the belly band. So we're going to take the belly band and fold it on all of the edges, and then, I don't really know what that means. Bum, ba, da, bum. Okay, so I'm looking at this, trying to figure out what that little thing means. Oh, here, and I didn't even have it folded right. Okay, so I think they just want me to adhere it together, because the belly band, sorry, I'm panning off camera a little bit. the belly band is going to go around like this, and then it's going to seal the box shut. And there's a little thing on the diagram, and I don't know what that is. So I'm just gonna go ahead and glue it. I hope that's not wrong. That's all I got, guys. If anyone that has put together their hope box already, or if anyone that is doing it with me knows what that means, please let me know. Otherwise, I'm just gonna go with the flow and glue it. So, got that done. I don't know if it's correct or not. I just know that the belly band needs to be put together. Okay. And then, the next step is 48 inches of, where's my glues? Is that all? Okay. 48 inches of this ribbon. Now, this ribbon was not used on any of the cards. So it is, I think all of it is for the box. It says 48 inches. Just for kicks, I'm going to measure and see how much, like if there is extra. 9, 18, 27, 36, 45. And I think, what did they say, 46 inches? Dun, 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 dun. Sorry, guys. Oh, it's right here. 48, 45, 46, 47, 48. Okay, so this is the cut of ribbon that they are suggesting for you to wrap around your box and use a belly band. Let's see here. We've got just a little left. Sorry, I hit the camera. Just a little left, and I will say I did use just a tiny bit for the alternative card, but according to the instructions, 48 inches is what you need, and then you're going to wrap it around your belly band, and then tie a bow off to the side. You guys, I'm a bow maker girl, so we will see how this bow goes. Okay. I feel like when I make bows, they always go upside down. Oh, I did it. Okay, this ribbon is heavenly. So, so nice. Oh my goodness. I love it. I am going to be honest with you on my box. I am not going to waste 48 inches of it for this side. It's gorgeous. I love it. I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm just saying I'm not going to, and it makes me a little sad because this box is beautiful. There is a video on the Paper Pumpkin Facebook page about what Shelly puts in her hope box, and it is very inspiring. It's a great thing to watch, and it kind of inspires you for what you could put in your hope box. So if you do intend to use your hope box as a hope box, definitely watch that video. I may or may not have shared it on Cards by Christine, and maybe I'll try to share it again, even if I did. It's inspiring to watch, to say the least. Thank you. I'm glad you're impressed by my bow making abilities, Holly. That was unnerving. All right, step number 3. We've got dimensionals on the butterfly and dimensionals on the sentiment. So moving that off to the side and bringing back in my dimensionals. Okay, so putting a couple on the butterfly. It's kind of hard to see where, oh no. Okay, seeing as how I have big and little dimensionals, I think I'm just going to do the easy thing and use the little dimensionals to stick this guy down. There's still not a whole ton of places that even the little ones fit. I'm going to take my glue scissor and cut one of these small dimensionals in half. I just want one something to balance off on the bottom. It's probably not necessary. It's maybe a little overkill, but that's what I'm gonna do. Then I'm gonna take 3 dimensionals on the sentiment strip. Okay, so butterfly goes down first. All the little dimensional backs that go all over God's beautiful creation. And that. Okay, so then, oh, I wonder if they don't really have any in this general vicinity. And I wonder if it's, this is confusing to me. It looks like you put the ribbon on, but that's not showing the ribbon there. But I think I'm doing this right. Oh, love the big butterfly. Oh my goodness, I agree, Sharon. Shannon. I love the big butterfly, and I as well have seen this on a card. Ooh, that is not super straight. Sorry, I'm gonna see if I can lift that up. I've seen it used on a card for someone who doesn't want to necessarily use the box kit for the box itself. Makes a beautiful focal on a card, or I could see that being an absolutely beautiful focal on the on a shadow box. Okay, so always hope, because you never know what tomorrow will bring. Man, these sentiments are just so lovely. Okay, so that's that. Then, if you're doing this with me, that seems a little flimsy in the middle, so I would put 5 dimensionals on that. Just a word for the wise. Okay, last but not least, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 embellishments to die cut embellishments to put on. They again show using glue dots. I'm going to use liquid glue. Okay, so first they took one of these. It is not going to be easy to use liquid glue. These are very fine embellishments, but I'll just put a little bit on. Not too much so it doesn't gush all over the place, but just enough. All right, now we've got one down here. Maybe. So again, still not so certain about this ribbon and if that's exactly how it's supposed to go. It's making it kind of difficult to get this intricate piece kind of shoved in under there. Thank you, Melanie. That bow, it is gorgeous. I'm not gonna lie. This ribbon is wonderful to work with. So, I don't know, it's maybe a cotton type ribbon. It is really nice. I'm a fan. Okay, a little more glue on this guy. Ugh. Man, I feel like I'm doing this wrong, but I don't think I am. I just can't envision how this would have gone together very nicely in creating this, but all right, there goes that one. Next we'll add the butterflies. Sorry, sometimes I tend to pull my work towards me, and sometimes then it pans off the screen, which is not super helpful for you guys. All right, so a butterfly up top and a butterfly coming down the bottom. We're kind of recreating that layered look that was on the last card that we made, the intricate die one. It's beautiful. Okay, this one goes up top. Now, for those of you that use liquid glue, like Chris and I like to do, if you're using liquid glue for these intricate dies, you are seeing me struggle with it. It is not super easy and not even super preferred. You definitely can use a sponge dauber or a sponge of any sort, make a puddle of glue on like a silicone mat. Much, much, much easier than trying to strategically place glue on here. So I should have done that, knowing that there were intricate pieces. I should have gotten those tools around. Would have made it easier. But here we are, doing our very best. Okay, let's put this one up top. Sorry, I'm fighting with a piece of hair that's not leaving me. This one down low. Okay. So if you have your hope box and you're not making it along with me, learn from me. I put little dimensionals down here that I have to lift up to tuck these die cuts under. Not the easiest thing to do. So maybe keep that in mind when you're going to be putting together your own kits. Also, maybe keep in mind that the butterfly could go last. I really think I'm following the steps, but it does not make too much sense to me to do it this way, but that's okay. Okay. Now, I do see I did that one a little backwards. They did put the yellow flower behind the butterfly, but we're kind of just making a layered look anyways, so that does it. That is your box. There is a tag as well that if you're gifting your box, you could put the tag on with someone's name. Very beautiful. I love it. Another way that you could finish this off is our good old Stella trick. Throw some splatters on there. Maybe give it a little more. Now, yeah, I was gonna say, now I'll get some globs. Whoa. Hello, Latokia. Thank you so much for joining. Never too late. You can always catch the replay. We just finished putting together our hope box. So that is the kit. I will show you now how we put together the alternative. Dun, 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 dun. Drum roll, please. I love it. You could use some of the extra die cuts. Actually, I don't think there are extra die cuts per se, but you could use some of the die cuts in a different way. But if you do it just this way, or even bring in, I could see a white die cut butterfly from the Butterfly Brilliance dies would be beautiful up there. Also, a splatter of Stella would be wonderful. Maybe I'm going to quick do some of those things. We will see how well this comes together. But I'm going to put that to the side. I'm going to take my card base. I made this a vertical open card. I seem to do a lot of them. Sorry, guys. And we have a 4 1/4 by 11 scored at 5 1/2. I'm going to fold along my score at the bone fold, or with my bone folder. Ooh, I think we like the alternative card. Yay! Okay. Then I took an envelope. I'm sorry, I'm going to use the same envelope design. This could work with any of the envelope designs, but based on the colors that I pulled out, I'm going to use this envelope. And the reason I'm going to use the same portion is this back portion is because I want to show you how I cut it. So I cut down the sides. This does not need to be perfect. There we go. It was like folded because this is not going to get utilized anyways. So don't worry too much about how you're doing that. Just slice it down the sides so that you can open it up and have a flat surface to work on. Then I took my trimmer and I trimmed on the score line that folds the envelope in half and save this. You could use this as a little banner. You can obviously use that as a card front as well. So you can make a ton of extra cards out of these envelopes. So excited about it. Okay, so now these edges are rounded and they kind of bow out. So you want it to be square. So what I did was opened up my cutter and cut along this piece where, and now I didn't do the best job there because, and it only matters because I have my mat already cut, but I'm just going to cut off. You totally will, I promise. If I think you said you tuned in late. We are hearing from our friends that have also had damaged boxes that they called into Stampin' Up! And they are sending them a replacement box. So please, please, please reach out to Stampin' Up! If you need help tracking down their customer service number, reach out to Chris and she can help you with that. But yes, the box is a very important part of this month's kit, so you definitely don't want to miss out on that. Okay, so, oh yeah, your comment, just joining in late. Then I'm going to trim it down, and I don't remember the exact size that this ended up being, but it really led how the card was going to come together because this is as big of a piece as you can get, just based on the curvatures of the envelope. Okay, so it ends up being approximately 3 3/8, and then there was plenty of extra length. I just cut a little, I don't know, 3/8 of an inch off the bottom by 4 7/8. So then you go ahead and adhere that to a piece of Melon Mambo. That's 5 1/8 by 3 1/2. Let me make sure that those are, yeah, that looks pretty right. Okay, so I'm gonna take my glue. 1-800 Stamp Up. Thank you, Susan. That is so helpful. Yes, so I had a couple people on my feed here say that they had damaged boxes. So if you are one of them unlucky people that received a damaged box, please, please, please reach out to Stampin' Up! And let them know. They cannot fix a problem they don't know you had. Gotta cook dinner. Can I have some filet? Sounds delicious. You have a fantastic evening as well. Okay, so I did not do the best job gluing. I got a little squeezed off the edges. And let's go like this. Sorry, my husband is calling. I'm almost done, sweetheart. I'll be home soon. Okay, now, I did a naughty. I didn't stamp before gluing it down. Now, it's not like I could flip this over anyways because it's got the design printed on one side. But I chose where there is hope, and then on the inside I put there is faith. So let's do that. I'm gonna grab my Blackberry Bliss, and then based on the colors that were in here, I'm also grabbing my Petal Pink. So first, we've got Hope, the 2 sentiments that we used earlier, the butterfly, and the speckling. Okay, so I'm going to line the where there is and hope on one side of the stamp. I am going to grab my ink up my stamp and hope, haha, no pun intended. God, I've been doing a lot of puns tonight. That it's good because kind of get a one shot and done here. Perfect. Where there is hope, and then I grab my Stampin' Write marker, and on the thin side, very carefully made 3 dots. You don't have to, I just like, it felt like where there is hope, and it's like not the end of a sentence. So I put my hand down as a guide for my other hand so that I can not make any drastic moves. Okay, where there is hope, dot, dot, dot. So suspenseful. Uh-oh. All right, then I'm going to open up that. Okay, going to take off these stamps and move on to the next ones. There is Faith. That is going to go on the inside of my card. Do your best to keep it straight. Worked pretty good. Okay, then I added 2 butterflies. One up top, one below. And then I'm going to close my pad, grab my petal pink and my splatter, and stamp the splatter right on top of the butterflies. Love it. Let's see if I can show you that. So, that is how I did that. Put the rest of the stamps away later. Okay, now I took a piece of ribbon that was approximately that long. I don't know, about 5 inches long. Took my ribbon scissor. And then, oh no, I'm not catching my comments. Let me see if I can, perfect. Oh no, Latokia, that is sad. I heard from a couple of people, well, maybe it wasn't a couple. I heard from some people that they did have success with reporting to Stampin' Up. So hopefully, if you try again, you can say, well, you did it for someone else. Okay, so I folded the ribbon in half and then cut down the middle. I love working with this ribbon. Now, try to keep your cuts kind of straight. It's not easy, but you will see the edges, so good luck. Okay, then take tear and tape along the edges and keep it as close to the edge as possible. Of course, I made it too long. Oops. Okay. Close to the edge, but don't hang over. Okay. Then peel the tear and tape back and stick the seam of the ribbon on the tear and tape with about, I don't know, that much hanging off the side, and then tear down, pull, Ho, ho, ho. You guys, I did not do a very good job. I didn't pat it back down. So I do recall that I actually tore it off before I stuck it on last time. So maybe I should do that again. Okay, but anyways, that one's on. Then give your ribbon a haircut. And then if you have some wavies like I do, like you can't see that very good, but it's not straight, you could cut that too, but it doesn't so much bother me. So then I'm going to, okay, maybe I'm going to trim this one a little straighter because this one's somehow worse than that one. I'm glad you like this idea. So the other way you could do, and both would be equally beautiful. Oh my goodness, I am having such trouble here. You could, and I'm not going to press it down super hard, but you could do it this way. That looks really nice as well. So I just kind of thought it was something a little different. Love the fringe ribbon. Thank you. I'm glad you guys are loving it. Oh, and here I said I was going to do it the other way and I didn't again. Whoopsies. Okay, but take a couple of the vertical strands of ribbon and pull them down. And again, if you think there's too much hanging off the sides, you can give your ribbon a haircut and make it shorter. But that is how I finished off the card. Honestly, I was trying to do it because I was trying to make up some space left to right because that's the widest I could make that piece. So I was getting creative. And I'm going to try to give a haircut. I don't know if... Having a little trouble with the ribbon scissor tonight. Again, I'm trying to concentrate. You can tell when I'm trying to concentrate because I'm not very engaged in conversation. Okay. Get all those ribbon pieces off, and then last thing I did was use some dimensionals to get my card in place. I have some edge pieces of dimensional, so I'm going to use them first with my glue scissors. Do not use your ribbon scissor for your glue. That is maybe what maybe accidentally happened and why I'm having a little trouble with my ribbon scissors. Not quite sure. But I'm going to go like this and get some pieces on there. Another tip, I'm just full of them today, guys. Use your, use every beautiful piece of that dimensional. The edges count too. You're not going to see them anyways. Okay, on something like this, where you're elevating the entire piece, you definitely want to use more dimensionals, not less. So maybe looks like an overwhelming amount of dimensionals, and maybe it is, but it makes me feel good about the fact that it's not going to sag because I have plenty of support in the back. All right. Blow off any of those extra little ribbon pieces that you've got floating around. Yeah, this was not a very good. So the better you cut down the middle of your ribbon the first time, the less hassle you're gonna have. So, all right. Then kind of have to put your card base down and then hover over it to know where to stick her down. And then give her a push. Now, when you do this, you know that you're using your envelopes, so you're not going to have the fancy matching beautiful envelopes, but you can totally just get some white envelopes and put all of your paper pumpkin cards as well as all of your new creations that you used from your envelopes. And you will have tons and tons of cards from this kit. So the kit itself makes 9 cards. And if you use the 9 envelopes to make 18 cards, because there's a front and back to each envelope, I mean, that's just like 27 cards from one paper pumpkin kit. I'm going to clean up my space and put all of our projects together for you so you can see what we made. Send me, oh my goodness, I was gonna say send me some likes and loves and hearts and stuff, but you guys are already doing that. I take it, we like it. I love, 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 love this paper pumpkin kit. Like I said, at the time of this video, there were 3 available. We've got 2 spoken for, so I think there is 1 kit yet available. If this paper pumpkin alternative sent you over the edge and you want it, speak now or forever hold your peace. I do have 2 people jotted down, Brenda Lee Wood and Jeannie Parker. I want to clarify with Jeannie Parker whether she wanted a kit or wanted an additional kit, because I did have her down as one of the kits that were working with us live tonight. So, yeah, that's that. Happy Paper Pumpkin Night. I love Paper Pumpkin. I hope you guys have a wonderful Thursday. Oh, hold the brakes. Pump the brakes, I should say. We've got some business to take care of. All right. We've got a mystery card. You ready to see it? All right, let me move the Hope Box things out of the way. Okay, dun 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 dun. Here it is. What do you guys think? Do you like it? I love it. I love, love, love it. I was tallying all of the people who submitted cards, and someone made a design so very close to this. So congratulations to you, whomever you were. We used the hand-penned paper. It's black and white DSP that is free with a $50 purchase through Stampin' Up! For the rest of this month with sale-a-bration. And then the hand-penned petals, I think, is the name of the beautifully penned bundle. And I used the sponge dauber around the edge to create, for my particular DSP, it was too much white on white, so I needed that differentiation. We suggested you could use another matte or a matted layer, or this is what I did. So what do you guys think? I love, love, love it. Yeah, I didn't stamp the inside. Sorry, guys. I should do that. I maybe will yet, but that's it. You guys are seeing it first. I will post it sometime tonight or tomorrow morning. Sometime. I know my kiddos are missing me, and my husband called probably 20 minutes ago, so he probably really wants me, but that's okay. So we had 39 people enter cards. So let me bring up a random number generator. Okay, so I am going to give away 2 prizes, because I think we say 1 for every 20, so that would be 2 prizes. So in the number range of 1 through 39, number 2, Donna Grutschke. Sorry if I did not do a good job pronouncing your name. You are a lucky winner. Thank you for sharing your card. And number 14, Angela Rademacher. You are also a winner. Please message us your address. And, okay, I'm going to do one more. That was too much fun. 34, Luann Johnson. Woohoo! Sorry, Chris, if I did one extra, you can take it out of my tally. Just kidding. It was just too much fun. And I actually know Luann, so that is fun as well. Let me see here. Just going to watch the comments. Luann Johnson, woohoo, you win. Donna, you're watching along. I totally didn't even know that. And Luann, you don't even know yet that you're a winner, but here it comes. Woohoo! Okay, so those are our winners. Thank you for participating in Mystery Card Night, and thank you for watching along tonight. I don't think I have anything else that I need to share with you tonight, but I hope you guys had a great time working with me tonight. Sorry I'm kind of playing substitute teacher, filling in for Chris tonight, but I love doing it. I had a great time, and it was just lots and lots of fun. So I hope you guys have a wonderful Thursday. The weekend is in sight for you people in New Zealand, and and watching the replay, who knows what time it is. But I will catch you guys later, and I hope you guys have a lot of love, sunshine, and hugs heading your way.